Human beings, by their very nature, are inquisitive and curious to know about everything, about the natural phenomenon around them. Like, why does it rain? Why do seasons change? Why do tigers have stripes? And many other things. Because of this very nature, we have devised various ways to collect information and to generalize things. For instance, one scientist has spent 15 years investigating into why a rock moves on its own. Martial artists have inquired which is the best method in hand to hand combat. Psychologists have inquired about the human mind. Sociologists inquire about the human behavior in society and how it impacts the society. So, it is our very nature to investigate into everything. Man has inquired about everything from a mosquito to a spaceship and even what his neighbor is up to. Now, that being said, is there a science which deals with the law? Is there a science which studies law? Of course, many of you may be thinking, I have studied law for 5 years. I have studied law for 3 years. Yes, you have studied the law. You know your rights. You know your duties. But have you ever wondered how a rule actually becomes a law? What is the source of law? What separates law from morality? People claim, I have this right, I have this duty. But what is a right? What is a duty? To whom it is owed to? So, there is a science which deals with the nature of the law, and it is called jurisprudence. The term jurisprudence is derived from the Latin term juris, meaning law, and prudentia, meaning science or the philosophy. So, literally, the term jurisprudence means science of law, philosophy of law, or knowledge about the law. Now, please understand this. All the lecturers study the textbooks and they say, oh, jurisprudence is the science of law. Jurisprudence is the philosophy of law. Okay. Nobody has even bothered to ask them, why is it called science of law? Why is it called philosophy of law? They do not explain, and the students never even to bother to ask them. Whatever is given in the textbook, they just try to by heart it and write it in the exams. Jurisprudence is science of law. Okay. Why is it called the science of law? In order to understand this, we need to have a basic understanding of three key concepts. What is science? What is philosophy? And what is law? After understanding, then we will know why jurisprudence is called the science of law, why jurisprudence is called the philosophy of law. Science is systematized knowledge. That is, knowledge acquired in a systematic manner, not some hearsay, not something you read in the newspaper or watched on television without any proper research. That is not scientific knowledge. Scientific knowledge is something that you have acquired in a systematic manner. There is a method. So, this scientific method consists of the following steps. So, if you have acquired knowledge through this method, it is considered as a scientific research and a scientific study. So, first, there is the hypothesis, collection of data, deduction, experimentation, and conclusion. So, basically, We form a theory or a hypothesis. Based on that theory, we collect information, we deduct that information, we check it out, we experiment, and finally arrive at a conclusion. So, from a hypothesis to a conclusion, from a theory to a conclusion, this method is called as a scientific approach. For instance, I will state two examples. I form a theory or a hypothesis that all the laws in India are against men. Now, in order to prove this theory, I will have to investigate about many other laws. I have to study all the laws. I have to talk to different jurists and many other judges and lawyers. Finally, I come to the conclusion, no, not all the laws are against men, but there are some laws which give special privilege to women and children in India. So, as you can see, from theory to conclusion, I have formulated a theory, I collect information, I deduct that information, I experiment, and finally come to a conclusion. Example number 2. My theory is, in a given college, 60% of students are fans of Sylvester Stallone, 40% of the students are fans of Arnold. That is my theory. In order to conclude that theory, what I will do, I will tell the students, after the classes are over, you can collect free DVDs. Now I will just I will just inquire how many students will collect DVDs of Sylvester Stallone, how many students will collect DVDs of Arnold. So I collect the data. Then I'll ask the students personally, are you a fan of Sylvester Stallone? Are you a fan of Arnold? I'll deduct the data. Finally, I arrive at a conclusion that no, maybe 70% of the students are fans of Sylvester Stallone and maybe 30% are fans of Arnold. Now, this is a hypothetical situation. My point is, once I formulate a theory, then I will come to the conclusion based on my deductions and experimentations. So, this approach is called as a scientific approach. Even in law, when we are pursuing our master's or PhD, we formulate various theories, various hypotheses on the law, and finally arrive at a conclusion. So this method is called as a scientific method. Now, science can be classified into physical science and social science. Physical science deals with material or tangible substances, their biological compositions, their chemicals, etc. Social science deals with behavior of man in society. But physical sciences deals with material substances, whereas social science deals with human behavior, which is not at all static. It changes from time to time, place to place, people to people. There are many social sciences: sociology, psychology, economics. Jurisprudence is also one of the social sciences which deals with law. Now, after all this, after you have hopefully understood that science is information that you have gathered in a systematic and proper method, this brings us to the question, why is jurisprudence called the science of law? Why? Jurisprudence is called as the science of law for the following reasons. Number one, the intent. What is the end or the purpose of science? The purpose of science is to acquire knowledge about something and using that knowledge for the benefit of the society. It may be in the form of inventions, medicine, or infrastructure. Similarly, the purpose of jurisprudence also is to acquire knowledge about the law and to formulate theories for the benefit of the society. So here the intent is the same. The only difference is the subject matter of jurisprudence is law, whereas other sciences has its own subject matter. However, the intention is the same, acquiring as much knowledge about the law and to formulate theories, generalizations, etc. Secondly, jurisprudence, like I said, is a social science. So, as far as possible, once again I'll repeat, as far as possible, scientific methods are used to acquire knowledge about the law. Generalizations are made, comparative research will take place. For instance, many of you are aware of the general principles of law. That means that these principles are common to all the legal systems, whether it is India, Pakistan, or China or Russia. There are few legal concepts which can be found in all the legal systems. For instance, a person is presumed to be innocent till proven guilty, or if a matter is already tried before the court of law, the same matter cannot be tried once again. There are many other things. So generalizations are drawn. Comparative research, for instance, what is the difference between the Indian Constitution and the American Constitution? How is that our legal system is different from the legal system of UK? So there are subjects as well: comparative constitutional law, comparative criminal procedure. So in jurisprudence, as far as possible, scientific method is used to draw generalizations and theory about the law. Those who are pursuing LLM or PhD are also aware of this. What research you are doing is a scientific approach, starting from the hypothesis to coming to the conclusion. So similarly in jurisprudence, there are various theories about the nature of the law. It may be there are different schools, analytical school, realistic school. These theories are knowledge acquired in a scientific manner and theories are made. So in jurisprudence, as far as possible, scientific methods are used to acquire information about the law. So that is why we call jurisprudence as the science of law. In other words, scientific or systematic analysis of the nature of law. The term philosophy is derived from the Latin terms philo and sophy. Philo meaning love and sophy meaning wisdom or knowledge. Now, does it mean philosophy is wisdom about love? No, no, no. This is not that type of lecture. Philosophy basically means in-depth analysis of something or acquiring knowledge by the application of the human mind. So, matters which ask core questions like what is life? What is the purpose of life? Why are we born? Such basic questions comes under philosophy. For instance, if a person talks about not the movies, not about whether you had coffee or not, but if he talks about why am I alive? Why am I born as a human being? What is the purpose of life? Some may say he has become very philosophical. Similarly, philosophy deals with the basic aspects of life. It is in-depth analysis of something. Similarly, jurisprudence is called as the philosophy of law because here you will not be studying the provisions of the law or its sections. Instead, you will be dealing with the basic concepts about the law. For instance, you will not, under jurisprudence, you will not be studying the various provisions of IPC or the NDPS Act. Instead, you will be studying basic concepts like what is law, what is right, what is ownership, what is possession, what are the general principles of law, what is a crime. So, jurisprudence deals with the basic concepts of the law and not with the sections, provisions, subsections, bylaws, etc. It dwells, it directly jumps into the core concepts of the law. So that is why it is called as the philosophy or the in-depth analysis of the law. So now you know why jurisprudence is called as the science of law and why jurisprudence is called as the philosophy of law. Basically, what is jurisprudence? Jurisprudence is the scientific analysis and in-depth analysis about the nature of the law. There are many sciences. This science deals with the nature of the law. That is jurisprudence. Next time, ask the lecturers when they say jurisprudence is science of law, jurisprudence is philosophy of law. Okay, moving on. Let us not move on. Why is it called science of law? Why is it called philosophy of law? You ask them. Tell them to watch my videos. Of course.